The Sumo Wrestler Principle. Most people think self-control is about forcing yourself to do hard things. But monks teach the opposite. Real power comes from inner discipline, not pressure. There's a reason this lesson is symbolized by a sumo wrestler. Huge, strong, calm, grounded. He doesn't rush, he doesn't panic, he doesn't react to noise. The Sumo Wrestler Principle teaches you how to build unshakable self-control, so your emotions, urges, and bad habits stop controlling you, especially when life feels overwhelming. And once you understand this principle, you'll stop fighting yourself, because strength will come from the inside. But first, you need to understand why most people lose self-control so easily, and why willpower alone always fails. Here's the hard truth. Most people don't lose self-control because they're weak. They lose it because their emotions move faster than their logic. When stress hits, your brain flips into survival mode. Anger reacts before thinking. Cravings speak louder than discipline. Fear pushes you to escape instead of stay. That's why willpower alone never works. Willpower lives in the thinking part of your brain, but pressure wakes up the emotional part, and emotion almost always wins. The Sumo Wrestler Principle fixes this by teaching inner stability before action. A sumo wrestler doesn't charge wildly. He plants his feet. He lowers his center. He becomes unmovable first. And that's the key. Self-control doesn't start with action. It starts with grounding. Once you learn how to ground yourself internally, urges lose their grip. But grounding isn't automatic. You have to train it. The sumo wrestler isn't about size. It's about center. A sumo wrestler lowers his center of gravity so he can't be easily pushed. Mentally, this means learning to stay centered when life pushes you. Most people live in their head, overthinking, worrying, reacting. Monks teach you to bring your awareness back into your body and breath. Here's the core idea. When you're centered, impulses lose power. Instead of reacting instantly, you feel the urge and pause. Instead of snapping, you breathe. Instead of quitting, you stay. This pause is the space where self-control is born. But to make it real, you need a simple practice that anchors you fast. Here's the simple grounding practice behind the Sumo Wrestler Principle. You can use it anywhere, before a tough decision, during stress, or when an urge hits. Step 1. Lower your focus. Bring your attention out of your head and into your body. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel your weight. This instantly slows emotional reactions. Step 2. Slow the breath. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds. Exhale slowly for 6 seconds. Long exhales tell your nervous system, I'm safe. Step 3. Plant your stance. Sit or stand still for 10 seconds. Don't rush to act. This is you planting your feet like a sumo wrestler before the push. In this grounded state, cravings soften, anger loses its edge, anxiety stops shouting. And now you're strong enough to choose. But grounding alone isn't mastery. You also need to train restraint, so control becomes automatic. Self-control isn't built in big moments. It's built in small, invisible wins. Monks train restraint the way muscles are trained. Lightweight, daily reps. Here are 3 micro practices that strengthen your inner discipline fast. 1. Delay the urge. When you feel the urge to scroll, snack, or quit, delay it by 60 seconds. You don't say no, you say not yet. This trains your brain to pause instead of obey. 2. Choose the harder option once a day. Cold water for 10 seconds. Walking instead of scrolling. Finishing the task instead of escaping. One small discomfort teaches your brain resilience. 3. Keep one promise to yourself. Just one. Daily. When you keep promises, self-trust grows, and self-trust fuels self-control. But restraint without direction becomes rigidity. The final step is learning how to apply this power without burning out. Here, where most people get it wrong. They think self-control means being hard on yourself. Pushing, forcing, shamming. But monks teach gentle firmness. Like a mountain, strong but not tense. If you tighten too much, you snap. If you loosen too much, you drift. The Sumo Wrestler Principle lives in the middle. Use this rule. Firm actions, soft inner talk. You act with discipline, but you speak to yourself with respect. No insults. No self-hate. Just calm correction. This balance keeps your mind steady under pressure. And when your mind is steady, your decisions improve naturally. Now comes the final question. How do you turn this principle into a lifestyle, not just a trick? This is where the Sumo Wrestler Principle becomes permanent. You stop trying to be disciplined and start seeing yourself as someone who is. Monks don't say, "I'm trying to control my mind." They say, "I am calm, I am grounded, I am steady." Identity shapes behavior faster than motivation ever will. Here, how to lock it in. 1 identity statement. Pick one quiet sentence. I'm someone who pauses before reacting. Repeat it daily, especially after small wins. 2 evidence tracking. At night, write down one moment you stayed calm or chose discipline. Your brain believes what you show it consistently. 3 environment match. Remove one trigger that weakens you. Add one reminder that strengthens you. Your environment should support the person you're becoming. Once identity shifts, effort drops. Control becomes natural. And now, there's one final lesson monks leave you with. The deepest truth behind real inner power. Here's the truth monks want you to remember. Real strength is quiet. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't react. It stands firm. The Sumo Wrestler Principle isn't about fighting urges. It's about outlasting them, breathing through them, letting them pass. When you stay grounded, life stops pushing you around. You respond instead of react. You choose instead of obey. So here's your challenge. For the next 7 days, practice grounding once a day. Slow breath, still body, one paused reaction. Because when your inner world becomes stable, the outer world loses its power over you. And the strongest people you'll ever meet, they're not loud. They're centered. Let's make this real. Picture this moment. You're tired. Your phone is in your hand. You know what you should do and what you want to do. This is where the Sumo Wrestler Principle lives. Instead of fighting the urge, you ground. Feet still. Breath slow. No drama. You don't argue with your mind. You don't negotiate. You simply wait. And something surprising happens. The urge fades. Not because you crushed it, but because urges are temporary and calm is stronger than impulse. Use this principle when you feel angry and want to react. You feel lazy and want to quit. You feel anxious and want to escape. Every time you stay grounded, you win silently. And silent wins change lives. But there's one last shift you must make. The shift from control to trust. Here's the final truth. You don't need to control everything. You just need to trust the part of you that stays calm. When you ground yourself enough times, your nervous system learns. I'm safe, I don't need to rush, I don't need to react. That's real confidence. That's real power. So remember this image. A sumo wrestler doesn't push first. He stands firm first. Stand firm in your breath. Stand firm in your values. Stand firm in who you're becoming. Because the moment you master your inner balance, life stops knocking you over.